Welcome. You are now listening to More Tarot, Please with CourtLauran, a special little podcast about tarot, moon magic, and self-care. What's up and what's good? It's me, CourtLauran. I'm a self-care coach that uses tarot, moon magic, and other self-care practices to facilitate guidance, healing, and insight for your journey inward. All right, let's get into it. Recap though of last week. So we discussed how we needed to release more. It was time to, choose love over fear and just release everything that no longer serves you. I, for one, I did my best. I feel like the last 2 weeks have just been heavy on the release. And that seems to be something that is difficult for me, I'm realizing. So I kind of just had to figure out how can I release, like what's a good way for me to release. But yeah, it was heavy on that, just letting go of what no longer serves you, just letting go of just stagnant energy, anything that you deem negative, just so that you can make space and make room for the abundance to come in. So I hope everyone was able to do so, and if you didn't, it's okay, because it's a continuous journey, so don't fret. What helped me is I realized that I need to write a letter of release. So like once a month during that waning moon energy or that last quarter moon energy, I'm going to write a letter of release. And I'm going to read that letter of release as many times as I want for that waning and last quarter moon energy. And then right before the new moon, like the day before the new moon's about to come, I'm going to burn it. I'm going to burn that letter and I'm going to officially release it. And then during the new moon energy, I'm going to write a letter of receive or replace. Just so whatever I let go of, I am now opening up and inviting what I need to receive or what I need to replace the things that I released. Because I think that is my big issue with releasing, is that I don't know what's going to come in its place. So I think if I take the time out to just write a letter of receive, then I know what I'm aiming to put in the place of the things that I released. And it just makes me feel better and makes me let go easier. So that might also help you, because the waning and the last quarter moon energy is going to come around again. So it's going to be time to use that energy to release again. So if you had difficulty releasing anything, try that. Okay? Now, let's get into this week. This week's theme, I pulled out some cards, and we have the wisdom card. I use the psychic tarot, and the wisdom card is also the Hierophant. And then the two oracle cards that I pulled out, I use flowers of the night, and the card that came out is devotion. And then I use the universe has your back oracle deck, and it says, I choose to learn through love. Now let's get to this wisdom card. I think that the theme of this week is to harness your wisdom and use it towards your journey, and with the devotion card coming out, I feel like it's definitely time to stay devoted, stay on task, like just really stay determined on harnessing your wisdom and using it for your best interest. I think it's really easy a lot of times for us to learn a lesson but not utilize the wisdom that came with this lesson. And this week, I think it's a really good time to check in with the lessons that you've learned thus far, and then devote yourself to harnessing the wisdom that you receive from them, and then being open to receive new wisdom as well, because there are so many different ways to receive wisdom that help us along our journey, and we have to be open to receive it in order to even identify it as wisdom. But definitely stay devoted to your journey. Stay devoted to what you have learned. It's like when not when it's like when you make a decision, right? And not so good consequences or outcomes come out of that decision. So now you learn that this decision has not so good outcomes or bad consequences, right? You learn that, and then you turn around and you make the same decision again, knowing that the outcome might not be good, is probably not good, and that bad consequences can come from it. And yet you still decide to keep making that same decision. You're not being devoted to the wisdom that you learned the first time when you received a bad outcome, bad consequences, not so good things happen from that decision. So instead of repeating the cycle and not utilizing what you've learned, you got to nip it in the bud. You have to harness your wisdom so that you do not make the same decision knowing the outcome is not going to be in your favor. So that's what this week's theme is. I definitely think it's time to pull out the journal. It's time to ask yourself, what decisions have I made that are in a repeated cycle? Like, what decisions do I keep making even though I know I should change, or even though I know better? And then how can I utilize the wisdom from the lesson that I've learned from these decisions in a more positive way? And then it's like, why have I not let myself truly embrace the lesson? I feel like those are questions to ask yourself so that you can move forward because I think that's a part of stagnant energy. So I think just to move forward and just continue to harness the wisdom that you have received so that you can continue to elevate in your journey and vibrate higher. And then with the I choose to learn through love, whatever lessons you have learned, you definitely want to make sure when you add it to your wisdom jar, your internal wisdom jar, it comes from a place of love. No matter how you learn the lesson, no matter if you learn the lesson through a negative circumstance, it has made you better because you have learned from it. So use that wisdom out of love for yourself and continue to grow from it. We are getting to a point where making the same decisions and being stuck in the same energy and being low vibrational just doesn't cut it anymore. We're elevating as a people, and in order to continue that elevation, we have got to harness our wisdom. We have got to be able to be open to receive new wisdom. We have got to grow and just come and step and put ourselves on a pedestal to say, and just really believe in ourselves and believe in our growth and be okay with it. Don't be scared of growing. It's necessary. We have to do this. Okay? So definitely, theme of the week, harness your wisdom. Use it in your journey. Do not continue to make decisions that you know will not benefit you. Stay devoted to the growth. Stay devoted to the lesson learned. Stay devoted to receiving new wisdom, and stay devoted to yourself to utilize your wisdom in the best possible way to create the best possible outcomes in your reality. Okay? And now a moment for our sponsor. Special thanks to Stage 4 Remnants for sponsoring today's episode. If you're interested in telling your story through a t-shirt design or buying some high quality wearable canvases, visit stage4remnants.com. That's stage, the number 4, remnants.com. All information will be in the description box of today's episode. I, for one, have gotten some high quality canvases and t-shirts from this company, and I love it. So definitely check it out. Now we're moving on to the new moon in Gemini reading, the moon energy reading for this week. We have a new moon in Gemini. Communication is key. Geminis are the thinkers. They're the analyzers. They have so many thoughts and so many ideas that they like to speak on, that they like to analyze and kind of figure out what's going to work and what's not going to work. So that Gemini energy is lending itself to the new moon this month, this week. And as we reboot, as we recharge, as we start to think about our new intentions coming for this new lunar phase, as we start to set new goals, as we start to go inward and really sit and visualize our goals and our intentions in our lives, remove the clutter. Because a lot of thoughts might flood your mind. You might have a lot of ideas. It's time to analyze those ideas and then pick the ones that you can put action behind right now and that will benefit you right now. So utilize that new moon and Gemini energy to do that as you set your intentions. The cards that came out with this new moon in Gemini, we have 10 of Swords, the Lovers, and the Empress. And then I pulled Queen of the Moon Oracle cards to go along with it, and Boundaries came out, Pleasure, and Beginnings. So I paired them up with the tarot card that I think it goes along with. So like the 10 of Swords and Boundaries, I feel like they came out for a reason and that they match well with this reading. Of course, especially in the past 2 weeks, because of all of the releasing energy, an end is going to come. Endings always come. And it's the end of a lunar phase cycle. It's the end of releasing what no longer serves you under this energy. And now it's time to set boundaries. Going back to the theme of the week, you harnessing your wisdom. Now that you've learned lessons, now that you have released things out of your life, what boundaries will you set? Set new boundaries for yourself. Set new boundaries for the people around you, the people that you choose in your life, so no one oversteps them. And just, be clear about what it is that you want to set. Release the idea that you are not worthy of boundaries, or that just because someone is close to you and it's someone that you choose to have in your life, it's okay for them to kind of test your boundaries, even though you don't appreciate it. So definitely it's an ending. It's the end of a cycle. It's the end of old mindsets. It's the end of old energy. It's the end of just everything that no longer serves you. And you are now being able to harness your wisdom to set boundaries moving forward. And then the Lover's card I paired with the Pleasure Oracle card. And I honestly feel like under this new moon, it's also time to revamp relationships that are in your life. Because I can't say that it's time for a new relationship because it's also Venus retrograde. So we kind of have to calm down on that. But it's definitely time to look into the relationships that you currently have in your life, that of the people that you choose to keep in your life, and see how you can refresh them. See how you can make them more pleasurable experiences. And this is with everyone, not even just a significant other if you have one. Just everyone that you choose to have in your life. Like, what can you do to kind of revamp, renew, recharge, reboot this relationship so that it's more pleasurable for you, it's more pleasurable for them, it's more pleasurable to be around each other. We fall out of contact with a lot of people. We don't communicate effectively all the time. Life happens, time passes. And it's really a good time during this new moon and Gemini phase to think about the people that you want to continue to take with you on your journey and how you can revamp those relationships and how you can refresh them so that, it's almost like a brand new relationship, or it's back to how it was, when everything was feeling good, feeling nice. So definitely take the time to look into your relationships and give it a reboot, a recharge, reconnect. Definitely. Just find pleasure in that. Find pleasure in the people that you want into your life. And then with the Empress card and the Beginnings card, and you know what? It's so funny because this Beginnings card, this Queen of the Moon Oracle card, has been popping up in so many of my readings for clients, readings for myself, readings for the collective. It has been popping up so many times, and I know it's a new moon, so beginnings definitely makes sense. But I just feel like there's just a big cosmic shift, and there's just beginnings all around, just in the world and in all of us. I don't think anything's ever going to go back to being the same, especially after this pandemic that we're going through. So I see a really big emphasis on this beginnings. And I paired it with the Empress card because the Empress card is about nurturing, right? But it's also about being able to birth new ideas, birth new goals and things into your life. So I see that I feel like it works well with this new moon in Gemini energy to birth your new goals. Set those new intentions, like I said, set those new goals and then nurture them. Really nurture them. Don't just write them down and forget about them. Don't just write them down and think, okay, well, I wrote it down, so it's going to come to pass. It's going to come to fruition. No, really be prepared to nurture your intentions, nurture your goals. Okay, because this is a shift, and this is something that's going to be new. I think that the ideas and the thoughts that we've been having as a collective are way different than the ideas and thoughts that we've had in the past. And I think that it can be scary to start kind of brand new, especially if your ideas are on something that you don't typically do in your day-to-day life, or just something that you've just gotten interested in. But take the time to nurture that. That's the beautiful thing about life, is we can always start fresh. We can always revamp ourselves. We can always start something new. It is never too late to start something new in your life. So use this new moon in Gemini energy to nurture, to think about what it is you want, to think about these new goals, these new intentions, and then to nurture them. Nurture this new beginning for yourself. You are blossoming into something amazing, something wonderful, and your journey is going to have so many new beginnings. But right now, for this present one, nurture the hell out of it. Okay? And last but definitely not least, let's get into this self-care reading. Okay, we have 7 of materials. We have an oracle card, Flowers from the Dead, and it is the Shark card, which means solitude. We have a self-care ritual card, which says to meditate. We have an affirmation card that says, I do the best I can. And then we have an everyday witch oracle card, which says rebirth and reinvention. Definitely fits with the theme of the week. Definitely fits with the fact that we're having a new moon this week, with this rebirth and reinvention. 7 of materials fits with the Empress card from the new moon reading. Like, it is definitely time to nurture what you have. Nurture what you have now. Nurture what you have now so that you can kind of harvest what it is that you have now and have gratitude for where you are now. A lot of times we tend to think that we do not have enough, or that we're not doing enough, or that we're simply not enough when we are. So take the time, 7 of materials, to continue to take care and nurture your goals this week. Set some goals for the week, set some goals for this new moon, and then nurture them, nurture yourself. Use that 7 of materials energy to continue to grow your garden. Okay? And then the Shark card with the Solitude, that goes hand in hand with this meditation card. It is time to step outside of your day-to-day, find solitude, find alone time, and meditate on what you envision and what you want for your life. What is it that you're going to nurture? What is it that you're going to harvest? What is it that you want to grow? How are you going to grow your garden? What is it that you want to do? Meditate on that and know that you are doing the best that you can. So add that to your meditation. I am doing the best that I can. I am nurturing my goals. I am watering my garden. I am finding time for myself, and I know that solitude can be helpful on my journey, and it does not hinder me from my growth. Really get into being okay with being alone. 9 times out of 10, when we struggle with being alone, it's because we need a distraction from something. So instead of distracting ourselves, let's nurture ourselves. Let's be okay with being in solitude, and let's meditate on the life that we envision for ourselves and the actions that we need to take and the nurturing process that we need to create for ourselves. Okay? So that's a good thing for us to do for this week, and remembering that we do the best that we can. With the Rebirth and Reinvention card, I definitely think that it will also be beneficial this week to take a spiritual bath or a spiritual shower, and that's a perfect time to meditate as well. You can knock 2 birds out in 1 stone. You can get in your bath or get in your shower and just meditate while you're doing that, because a lot of times that's where we can actually get our solitude when we're in the shower or we're in the bath, hopefully. So use that time for your meditation time, and then envision the water kind of just cleansing what needs to be cleansed, or, filling you up with what you need, especially if you're taking a spiritual shower. Just imagine the water running down, rinsing off what no longer needs to be there, and then running back down on you and replenishing what was just removed, rebirthing you in a way. Same thing with the bath. You can envision that the purpose of the water is to just cleanse you of what you don't need and then replenish you with what you do need. But I definitely think that this week is a great time to find alone time and meditate on what it is you want to nurture, what you want to bring to fruition, and how you want to grow. Okay? All right. Thank you so much for listening. Until next time, live your best, love your body, and liberate your soul. Peace. Thank you for listening. If you would like your own personalized tarot reading, head over to moretarotplease.com. And if you would like to connect on social media, you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at moretarotplease.